create a REST API is an Amazon S3 proxy in the API gateway. So let me go to the steps to see what all implementation we need to do. So basically to expose, get on the API's root resource to list all of the Amazon S3 buckets. So we need to follow below steps. First we need to set up IAM permission for the API to invoke Amazon S3 actions. Then let's say for your API to create, view, update and delete. I mean do all the operations on the objects in S3. You need to use IAM provided either S3 full access or S3 get and put operation on the IAM role, and the IAM role must contain the following trust policy for API gateway to assume this role. So for an example, we must include this API gateway.amazonaws.com to assume this role. Now, as a next thing, we need to create API resources like the root resource, the folder and item, I mean to access the contents dynamically. Then once that is done, at the end we need to expose an API get method to list the caller's Amazon S3 buckets, to list all the buckets basically. So let's jump into the implementation and see how we can do this. Okay, let's get started. Now this is my AWS console. Now this is the API gateway console, and basically I have two buckets, test bucket 1106 and test bucket 113, and inside which I have different files. Basically here I have one text file, and if I will go inside this bucket 113, I have different image file as well. And I have also created a test S3 role where basically I have given S3 full access, and this I have also, if I will go to the trust relationship tab, you can see that this is what I have given the API gateway permission. I mean the this section which I was talking about, the IAM role must contain the trust policy for API gateway to assume this role. So this we must need to give this permission, otherwise we will get error while invoking the API gateway. Now let's jump into the API gateway section. Let me create a REST API quickly. Okay, this is a welcome to Amazon API gateway screen. That should be fine. As of now, we are selecting REST API, and this should be new API. You can also select the option of import from Swagger or Open API or Example API. We will see in the next section, next video. Let me keep some name like S3 Test API, API Access 3 through API. That should be fine. Endpoint type can be regional. Create API. Okay, this is our root resource that has been created. Now let me create another resource. The name can be folder. This is done. Let me create resource. The folder is also done. Let me create another child resource item. Do the same for item as well. Now once that is done, we have to expose an API get method to list all the Amazon S3 bucket. So for that, what I will do, okay, I need to create this get method under this root resource, because first we will see how we can see all the, how we can list out all the S3 buckets present for an this is this AWS account basically. Now let me click on here, actions, create method. Now you, I can put it get method. Okay. Here this integration type I need to change. Lambda function HTTP we will see in the next videos how we can integrate this. But as of now Clicking on this AWS service, the region can be EU Central 1. Yeah, EU Central 1, the AWS service should be S3. The HTTP method would be GET. Now here we can select use path override, and I'm just putting the root resource slash, and yeah, the role name should be the role which we are using basically. Let me go over here, copy the ARN of the role what I have created earlier. So basically we need S3 full access, and in the trust relationship we would like to give the API gateway dot Amazon AWS.com. So that should be fine. Content handling pass through, that should be fine. I'm using the default timeout and I'm saving it. Now once that is done, what I can do is I can go to the API gateway method execution, and I can just hit on test. Yeah, so you saw that we are getting status code as 200. I mean successful status code, and these are the buckets that I had earlier created, and all the test bucket 1106 and test bucket 113. So whatever buckets are available in my AWS account, I am able to see them.